this is recording. I hurt my coccyx on Tuesday. It was school athletics day. I'm a teacher, by the way. So yeah, we went to athletics day and there were kids doing long jump and I really wanted to have a go. I haven't done any long jump since I was in high school, but I really wanted to have a go for some reason. I wanted to see like how far I could jump, and I thought, you know what could go wrong? It's just jumping in sand. So yeah, I gave it a go and I landed on my coccyx. It hurt really badly. Even though it was in sand, it was still really painful. Like it was kind of like, it felt like a big shock. I don't know if the sand was maybe compacted or wet or something. And not only that, like I felt like my head spinning, I went dizzy as well, and I kind of like my ears were ringing as well, which is really weird. So I kind of got up and like I had to kind of like lean over a fence. Anyway, one of the staff kind of took me to the first aid nurse and they gave me a Panadol and asked me if I wanted to go home, and I was like, I don't know, I didn't know, like I wanted to see if the painkillers would work and if I would get better. So 30 minutes later my head was fine, like I wasn't dizzy anymore, I was fine, but my coccyx was still hurting and that pain wouldn't go away. Even walking was hurting my coccyx, so I decided to go home and I really wanted to go to my GP and maybe get that checked out straight away and, you know, maybe get an x-ray or something like that. The drive in my car, that was really painful. That was like agony. So I got home, called my GP, got an appointment, went to the doctors, and basically said that it's at this stage it's still swollen and there's a lot of bruising and swelling, so there's no point doing an x-ray. Often fractures don't come up straight away on x-rays, especially if it's like a line fracture. And she prescribed me this really strong anti-inflammatory medication. I started taking the medication, and that day I had to sit on this special cushion, and the next day when I went to work I had to use that cushion in my car as well. My lower back now started hurting because I couldn't sit properly, so I had to sit basically leaning forward. I couldn't sit upright and I couldn't sit leaning backwards, and I also had to avoid sitting down as well because that puts a lot of pressure on my coccyx. So that started hurting my lower back. By Thursday a lot of the pain had gone and I got to the point where I stopped using that cushion because that was giving me lower back pain. I did ask my GP to write me a referral to my physiotherapist, but she's kind of like, no, let's do that in 2 weeks time. Let's see how the medication works first. Let's get the swelling and the pain under control first, and then in 2 weeks time you can go to the physio. But I kind of wanted to go to the physio to get advice in terms of what exercise I could still do, or whether I had to stop exercising. So unfortunately I don't really have a lot of information about that right now, and based on what I've read online, they say that avoid exercises that causes more pain. And I did ask my doctor as well, which I know it's not the best person to ask that question, but I asked her, can I still exercise? And she was like, yeah, it's fine as long as it doesn't hurt. But I think she thinks that my exercise is like literally doing housework around the house. And I don't think she knows a lot about sports and bodybuilding and powerlifting and stuff like that, which I know my physio does, and in the past my physio has been giving me really good advice and recommendation in terms of exercise. So what my GP said was, if you lift something, like if you lift a chair or something and that hurts, it means that's too much, so don't do that. But if you're lifting things and it's okay, there's no pain, then that's fine. So I interpreted all that information as, okay, I can still exercise provided it doesn't increase my pain. Friday I thought, okay, I'll go for a run in the morning, and I know running is high impact and I was hesitating, but running and exercise is basically my number one way of managing my mental health. Like if I can't move and I can't exercise, it's really going to start impacting my mental health. And also exercise and moving and being active has been one of the major way I've been managing my lower back pain as well. And now my lower back pain is coming back because of these issues with my coccyx and not being able to sit properly and not being able to exercise properly. So I didn't want to take like a 2-week break from exercise and not moving at all. I just wanted to do something just to, number one, for my mental health to stay sane, and number two, for my lower back as well. So I went on a run on Friday morning, and like when I say run, not a sprint or anything like that, but more like a light jog, and that was fine. And I was really pleased. Like I ran for about 5 minutes, then I stopped and there were no pain, which was great. So I kind of rested for 4-5 minutes, and then I ran again for another 5 minutes and there were no pain. So I do believe that running is something that I can do. Today is Saturday and I'm going to head to the gym now. I'm going to record what I do in the gym, but basically what I want to do today, I'm not going to go and just start lifting heavy. I'm just going to test my body, what my body can handle. I'm just going to start with body weights and see how that goes, and if I notice any pain then I'll just stop. But I just want to find some exercises that I can do and not focus on the fact that, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that, because that would really affect me mentally. Like that would affect my mental health. If I can't do the things that bring me joy, and if I can't exercise, which is how I actually manage my mental health and pain, it's really going to impact me. So I want to go and work on stuff that I can actually do, but I'm going to be super cautious. I'm going to be careful, and if there's anything that increases my pain, that's going to be something that I just stay away from. So I started with some hip hinging exercises, and I did a few reps just with body weight, and that did not hurt my coccyx. Then I moved on to practicing some bodyweight deadlifts, and I did a few reps and no pain. So then I tried adding a 20 kilogram kettlebells and did some deadlifts with that, and that did start causing me some pain. So deadlifts are probably something I'm gonna have to stay away from for now. Then I took a little break after that just to make sure that the pain from the deadlifts were not carrying over to the next exercise. Next up, I thought I would try some squats. So first of all, I squat to parallel, and that did not cause any pain. So then I decided to squat deeper, and I was quite surprised that this did not actually cause me any pain at all. I thought that with a deep squat that would be hurting my coccyx, but no pain at all. So I added a 5 kilogram plate and squatted with that, and still no pain, which is good. So next up, I squatted with the bar, which, by the way, the bar weighs 20 kilograms. I did a few repetitions here as well, and still no pain. So far so good. Next up, I added 10 kilograms to the bar, so that's a total of 30 kilograms, and I did a few repetitions as well, and still no pain. And you can see here I'm gradually adding the weights. I didn't go straight on and lifted some heavy weights. I'm doing everything very gradually, making sure there's no pain at any stage before adding more weights. Then I added a further 10 kilograms to the bar, so this is now 40 kilograms. I did a few reps with that and no pain. However, as my muscles started getting fatigued, I started noticing a little bit of pain, especially when my glutes were engaged. Exercises that actually engage the glutes are more likely to cause pain to the coccyx, and that makes sense because the gluteus maximus does attach onto the coccyx bone. I'm probably going to need to stay away from glutes exercises for now. Next up, I move on to some upper body exercises. So this is a shoulder press, and I didn't expect this to be causing any pain, but you never know. So I started with a bar, then gradually added more weights and worked up to my heavy set. Next up, I moved on to bench press. Now, I was expecting this to hurt only because I do have to lie down on the bench. That can put some pressure onto the coccyx, but I was surprised to find out that this didn't actually really hurt. Then I moved on to some, I suppose, more risky exercise because that does require me to be in a seated position, and being in a seated position can put a lot of pressure on the coccyx. So I tried this seated calf raise here, and again, I was trying to be really careful here. I was leaning forward quite a lot, and I tried it with no resistance first to see how I went, and that did not cause me any pain whatsoever. Again, I gradually added some more resistance, and at each step of the way, I'm just trying to make sure that it's not causing any pain. I'm really paying attention to how my coccyx felt, and that did not cause pain at all. So I could add a decent amount of weights to this, and I could get a really good workout, and it had no pain at all. Speaking of seated exercises, the next one I tried was the lat pull down. I had a little bit of concerns about this exercise because unlike the seated calf raise, with this one I do have to lean backwards a little bit more, and there's no way you can do a lat pull down but while leaning forward. But this was actually fine. I didn't experience any pain, and I do think that's because the seat is a little bit small. If you see there, I don't think my coccyx is even in contact with the seat. So this is an exercise that I can keep doing. It doesn't really cause me any pain, which is good. The final exercise that I tried today was the row. Now this one is a little bit more concerning because I do have to lean backwards a lot more, and there's a lot of sort of like rocking forth and back with this one, way more than the other lat pull down exercise. So I was very concerned with this, and I tried to practice this without any weights first, just practicing the movement, which kind of looked a bit silly, but I had to make sure it wasn't gonna hurt. And then I gradually added some weights, and I don't feel too good about this exercise, so I might actually stay away from this one just for a week or two. That's it for this video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.